Hello.
Hi.
Oh, you didn't laugh.
No.
Oh.
Should I?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just threw me a little bit. I
laughter.
was pausing to let you do a little chuckle. That's fine. Welcome to a giggle-free episode 5.
There's no laughing in this one.
No laughing allowed.
No.
This is a very serious subject.
It's very serious and corporate.
Episode 5.
Lose your personality.
That Magick podcast. Business-like. Professional.
Yeah.
Dynamic. Go-getting. Achieving.
Deliver those deliverables.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In this professional episode of That Magick podcast, we're going to be talking about magic in the workplace.
Yeah. Should we talk mostly tarot? I think. Mostly tarot, because I've come prepared with the cards.
You've got tarot stuff with you. Already that sheen of professionalism is falling away from us. But yes, let's talk mostly about tarot in the workplace. You've been pimping it for at least 2 of the now 3 seasons that I've been working on this. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
Cool. See you after the tune. So, last time we spoke in what I'm led to believe was called episode 4,
right?
We talked about my birth chart. And in that, you brought up, not for the first time, I would say,
You broken record, you.
the concept or your desire, ambition, wish, there are other words, to bring
objectives,
magic with a K into the corporate environment.
Yep.
Into the office.
Yep.
Get people doing stuff. Tarotting, Lenormanding, scrying.
Sure.
Where did I leave that file? What does that look like? Because you've said it a lot. It's something you clearly want to do. Come on. Tarot cards on the table.
They literally are.
What does that look like? Sell it.
Okay.
Or just explain it.
I will just try and explain it as best I can. All right, so let me just wibbly wobbly take you back in time.
To episode 4 or even further?
No, even further back.
Ooh.
Even before podcasts had been invented.
Podcasts as a whole or ours?
No, all podcasts.
All podcasts.
Almost before.
Like the olden days.
The olden days.
When we walked around in black and white.
Yeah.
Those days.
Those days.
All right, okay, cool.
Even before maybe the internet was a thing. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It wasn't before the internet was a thing, but it was a long time ago in this galaxy. But I put together a conference, an all-staff conference for everybody that worked where I work. I still work here. What is wrong with me? Anyway, I put a staff conference together. And as part of the, I don't know, entertainment, I guess, the shit bit between when the conference ends and you have to go eat. There's
the dead time. The
dead time where you can either go and have a nap, or you can prop up the bar, but that's frowned upon.
Or you can go and phone your loved ones and moan about the fact that you're stuck there and you can't go home. God, it was boring.
Exactly. So in that shit time where you...
I think it's called free time.
Free time. But nowadays, now we all have phones with the internet on it. You would just do your emails like a loser, wouldn't you? Like a corporate loser.
You would do work.
You do work. And you'd be at work for 14 hours, effectively. But back in the olden days, when phones didn't do this, and we barely had the internet,
paper, chalk and slate.
I put together an all-staff event, and in that dead time, I put together like little breakout zones where we had a tarot card reader, we had like crystal aura people. No, we had an aura photographer, and we had crystal healing people. We had people that do that thing where they wave their hands over you.
Magic.
Sure, let's call it that. But I put that together to fill that empty space between, right, the conference is finished, back here for dinner, but you could go and do this. Everybody went and did this. They went and had their cards read. They went and had their aura photographed. And this was way back in the day. That's where it started for me, that we should be doing this. Like, why do we not do this more often? Why are all the corporate events that have been put together in the same place where I work since then just been so boring? So boring. It's who can kill the room with the PowerPoint the quickest. That seems to be the contest.
Yep.
And that's where I'm coming at it from with this tarot in the boardroom idea. It's probably not my idea. So I'm not thinking that I've invented something here, because I really don't think I have. But because it's not prevalent in the UK, certainly, it is not prevalent. We don't book a tarot card reader to come to a corporate event. It's just not what we do in the UK. Maybe it's better where people are a bit more free thinking and a bit more creative. But certainly in the industry that I'm in, it's grey. It's grey suits.
No personality.
It's grey suits, ties, briefcases, bowler hats. It's that sort of industry that I work in. And so when I dream of we should do more strategizing using an astral chart, we should get creative thoughts going in workshops using tarot cards, I know I'm a long way from that actually being realised. But I can try. I can certainly try. So what that looks like effectively is we can start at the conference, ease people into it slowly, so it's presented as look, this is the fun bit where you can have a glass of wine and go and have your tarot cards read, which is where I started 100 years ago trying to do this. But I do see it evolving into things like team building events. You could have a tarot card reader that comes to your smaller team building event to basically do a reading for the team. So they are there presenting back almost like the Myers-Briggs-ness, but for the team in a completely different sort of way. It's a different aesthetic. And you could do it in one-to-ones as well as the next step of evolution, as it were, to those Myers-Briggs / insight profile type things. Now, I'm not a digitally person, and I know you do work with people who are nerds and understand codes and algorithms and stuff. But you know, when you're presented with this Myers-Briggs and you fill out the questions that it asks you, and then it spits out a report at the end of it. Well, somewhere in the back of there, presumably there is some algorithm that teaches the AI that lives in the internet about if this person answers it in this way, then they are I don't know.
No, it's just like those magazines, you know, just like mostly D's, you're in Hufflepuff, you know that. No, I'm sure that there's obviously some complicated algorithms and stuff, but it all comes from psychology and things as well, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So how would that work with tarot? Because last time we spoke about birth charts, and the report I got, or the output, the narrative I got associated with my birth chart was very much like a Myers-Briggs type output saying this is your personality, this is how you are, blah, 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 blah. This is not to be read as an excuse for all your deficiencies, but here are your deficiencies. But with tarot, how would that, because you don't get a report out of tarot, do you? You can't do a reading and then say, here you go, here's your 3-page summary, or can you?
So if we start with like a Myers-Briggs, for example. So when you are going on a team building event, for argument's sake, you might undertake a Myers-Briggs or an insight profile in order to go to a team building event or whatever that basically sets out, and if people haven't done any of this stuff, so a Myers-Briggs or an insight profile essentially is, let's be honest, a bit of a character assassination on you based on how you respond in a given circumstance and how you can best work with others who are like you and others who are opposite to you.
Yeah, it gives you a series of questions about situations or how you view the world, and you're supposed to answer in a kind of like just a snap gut reaction.
So an example question would be, the colleague you don't like is on fire. Would you piss on them? Yes or no? And depending on how you answer that, determines the kind of person you are in a given circumstance. I don't think I've ever been asked that question, in all honesty.
No, I kind of wish I had been. certainly make them more interesting.
Exactly.
All right, okay.
Exactly.
So those are the kind of things.
So let's imagine there is a digital tool, because Myers-Briggs is a digital tool, right?
Yeah, you answer the questions online or whatever.
And a faceless algorithm tells you everything about you as a person, and your whole existence is based on artificial intelligence, right? So if we can all just accept that. Right. So what I'm suggesting is that whatever psychological books have been explained to the AI machine, instead of telling it psychological profiles, you tell it about tarot cards and the archetypes that exist within the tarot structure.
Right, okay. I just need to clarify. I don't think it's actually AI. I don't think Myers-Briggs stuff is learning from each time you answer it. I think it is just algorithms. I'm only saying that just in case someone wants to sue us.
That's what it wants you to think.
Okay. Misrepresenting their personality tests.
No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure they're all fine.
Okay.
And then they're not going to take over the world. No. Right. So basically, you, instead of teaching the algorithm to produce the report based on this kind of personality type from psychology books,
right,
you tell it instead that about the archetypes that exist in tarot. So, for example, you might have the leader archetype, or the, I don't know, the mother as an archetype. And those kind of archetypes do exist within tarot, and you could probably see them more reflected in the major arcana rather than the minor. So the minor arcana are all the suits, the number cards, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And then the major arcana are like the trump cards. They represent archetypes and major life events. So teaching the algorithm that, say, the Empress, for argument's sake, is based on nurturing and, you know, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
If that was if you answered the questions and the answer that came out on the other side was, ta-da, you are like the Empress. It transcends gender. It's just, it's about how you nurture the team and others around you.
Yeah.
So that's one example of how tarot could show up in a corporate environment and it not be weird.
Okay, so I answer all the questions, and it sort of says, right, based on the answers, your personality type is in line with this would be your major arcana, and then maybe here are your like 3 minors or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a driving test. You get 1 major and 3 minors.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one is ever one archetype, are they?
No.
There are always, you've got
some
in this
of this,
circumstance, you are more like this, and in this other circumstance, you are
instead
more
of saying,
like that.
insights profiles, for example, where they give you a colour,
Mm-hmm.
you would potentially get several cards from a deck.
You could get like 4 or 5 different card solutions, not physical cards.
No. But it's because you don't.
It's the descriptor
This
sits
is your
behind
personality.
it. Yeah.
This is the way you react, and this is most like the Empress or like whatever.
Yeah.
Death.
Like death, exactly.
The moon, the sun. Trying to think of some others that I know.
Cards that you've
some
seen.
Cards that I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You see,
Okay.
you get it.
I do eventually. Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. All right.
So that's one example. Obviously, with that example, it's between the developer and that's it. No one's actually giving you some tarot cards and going, right, which one do you want to be?
But like I said, there's universally accepted definitions or whatever of each card. So that's a fairly straightforward program in. This doesn't sound like too difficult a job for a dev.
Excellent. Does anyone want to develop this with me for free?
Please contact Magenta School of Magic.
That would be awesome.
Okay, cool. So what are some other examples?
All right. So that's one example where I'm starting with the not too weird and woo. I'm building up. Remember how we booked the conference.
I would argue that doing a personality test and being told you are the moon, that's not really. I mean, mind you, how different is it to being told you are blue?
It's no different to being told you are blue and a little bit of red.
You are the moon and also the 7 of Cups.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean anything to people who don't know about the psychology behind it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
all right,
sorry,
I interrupted.
Right. So we talked about team conferences where I started and sneaking things into one-to-ones. So this is another way where you can sort of drop in bits of magic into the corporate world without it being too weird. But I do see it. You could indeed bring actual physical cards into the workplace, and I see this maybe playing out in things like workshops where instead of a whiteboard or post-it notes where we're drawing things, whatever it is you need to draw on these things, there's always a need to draw something, right, in a workshop, otherwise it's just a meeting.
Well, what's the point?
Exactly. Otherwise that is the difference between how do I know if I'm in a workshop or a meeting.
There are post-it notes.
There are post-it notes in a workshop, exactly. Everyone knows this. So in a workshop, someone like me comes along to facilitate your workshop, and you are given some cards. You're basically looking at maybe what are the challenges facing this team, and you might pull a card. No, we've done Empress. Let's do so. Is
there one of the cards that says the project manager's a dick?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. So in here we've got, so what are the problems with this team? So just for the benefit of the tape, I've pulled the 5 of sticks to beat people with.
It's upside down though as well.
Exactly.
What's that called?
So that's in the reversed position. And depending on if you are a card reader that reads the cards in reverse positions, from my perspective, I do read the cards in the reverse position. So the fact that this 5 of wands is upside down does suggest that what is challenging the team at the moment is infighting. The team are falling out with each other. If the
you're doing that for my
why not? So if the 5 of wands was in the upright position, then from the way I read the cards, this is an external situation. The challenge for the team is that everyone out there is against the team,
Oh, no,
but the team
sounds
are
much more like my team. Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was
we
reversed.
don't fight internally, but
So-
everyone else.
So that's another way where it forces issues to the surface that perhaps nobody wants to call the emperor, and there is a card called the emperor in tarot. Nobody wants to say the emperor has got no clothes on, but sometimes having an impartial tool, and it is just a tool. You can blame the cards not each other.
Yeah, so you use them perhaps to prompt discussion,
Yeah.
rather than okay, we've got 3 weeks left on this project. How are we going to solve this problem? And it goes, oh, so we need Eric to do this, and Stephen does that, and then Fred and Jane go over there and do this bit of work, and then I'll put my name on it at the bottom. So it's more a case of, right, let's talk in themes or broad brush,
exactly,
and use it to prompt conversations by offering potential answers or topics, rather than
it's a more creative way to unpack an issue in the same way that I believe tarot can be used in personal development or counselling type settings.
Right.
But instead of it being a one-on-one in a counselling room, it's in a bland office without post-it notes, because we're doing tarot and not post-it.
Tarot workshop instead.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's one way. So, and then another way. So that's just to look at challenges within a team. If you wanted to take a project or a piece of work in another direction, maybe a bit more strategic, or think of where else you want to go. Another card, just pulled the Queen of Pentacles, just for the tape, it's upright. So the Queen of Pentacles suggests that it needs a bit more pragmatic leadership, leaning into it. So maybe taking the team in a new direction is about leading the team towards something that's a bit more material. Maybe maybe the team hasn't had hard outputs. Maybe it's all been a bit woolly and they need something a bit more material that they can get their hands on. And that would be something. So just to prompt ideas, get people talking rather than just sitting around staring at each other because they don't have post-it notes to write things on.
All right, cool.
So
that makes sense.
So it's looking for solutions to look back, what's been a problem, and tools to maybe look forward. Not suggesting that you use the tarot to necessarily plan the work in the way that you were suggesting. Peter and Jane do X and Y. But it's more to unpack the issue behind failures, or why was this so awesome? Let's do retro and planning based on tarot instead.
So that does make sense. It's just it's interesting, and I wonder. I don't think you pushed for this too hard in your actual boardroom, as it were. But I do think that because you try and explain it, people might think about, like pop culture doesn't do this sort of thing, but you get it's much more oldie worldy, kind of like the sorcerer advisor sort of thing, whispering in the ear of the king, or even like flipping Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or something, or biblical times when there's always some sort of like dark magician guiding them and stuff like that. It's not.
Tell me more about this. No, you're right, because you don't have like police dramas where people are gathered round a deck of cards. They're always gathered round a whiteboard with a load of string on it for whatever reason. But there's no reason why more police dramas shouldn't have this. But you say that it does pop up, but
it does in, like I said, my limited experience of it is it comes up in a historical type of context, like it's old fashioned pop culture. That doesn't sound right. I mean, it's pop culture that is from another era,
like the court of King Arthur or something.
like knights, medieval kings, like that sort of old world kind of.
Oh, yeah, you said Game of Thrones.
There's always, you've been Robin Hood, I think Prince of Thieves, doesn't he have like the Sheriff of Nottingham has a witch or something?
He does.
Stuff like
a pet witch, yes, he does.
There's always, and it's always the bad guy or a person of grey morals at best.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Or they're being manipulated by something. So trying to suggest we should use Magick with a K as a form of corporate advice.
Yeah.
You can see why people might go, oh, because
you don't think they're ready for it.
No, because you're flipping, what's her face, Mystic Meg in the corner with a crystal ball and stuff like that, saying, oh yes, I see that the market will fall and profits will drop, crops will burn.
You will not deliver on your KPIs.
Yeah. Your performance review this year will not be positive. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to, let's use it as a form of, facilitating a discussion. Let's use it as a different tool that we can use to get a conversation going or consider what's happened or what could happen. Or let's associate the personality aspects of the cards, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's very different to what I imagine people would gut reaction think of when you say, let's bring magic into the workplace. Either that or they're thinking of card tricks and,
right, rabbit sleight of hand
and stuff like that. Ooh.
Not that I'm suggesting that where I work is all sleight of hand. Duke the stats. No, we don't do that.
So those are two examples.
Yeah.
Any more?
So what did we talk about? We talked about building up from the silly fun of the dead time in a conference to let's just do it privately, one-to-ones, through to, well, you could do it for your team building where you have a look at the different archetypes of the people that are in your team, right through to, no, this is live practice. We're going to get the tarot out and we're going to use it as a tool to theme discussions. I guess the final piece, I think, is that, how do I put this? I see the inclusion of, so we've talked mostly about tarot today, but certainly things like astrology and using tarot in personal development and guidance and such. I see all of that as being the natural evolution to corporate well-being offers. Now, we've already got people that come into the workplace to run mindfulness, for example. So we're kind of getting there with it's not too weird to have meditation at work, as long as it's the sort of stuff that the NHS would approve. So we'll just call it mindfulness. And we're not doing visualizations and we're not trying to cast spells, but we'll call it mindfulness, and that's okay because the NHS say it's okay, so it's okay for us. I just see it as the next evolution. If people can accept that human beings, they are physical, mental and spiritual beings, all of that needs feeding, and you can't just leave any one bit of it at home when you go to work.
So are you talking about sort of like using meditation for visualization of outcomes, that sort of thing, positive mental attitude almost, but like you've talked before about spell casting, you've got to visualize the thing that you want to happen, that sort of thing. I see it as being the next evolution to all of that. So I know that people are probably mostly comfortable with what mindfulness is. It's accepted as a way of reducing stress and helping build resilience and things like that, which is great because we all have to start somewhere. We can't just expect people to just start visualizing the outcomes, but certainly the next step along, as well as
helping people with tools that manage stress better, helping people to visualize a good result for a project, and people can do that together as a team, or they can do it individually. But I just see it as it's the next thing, because it just is. It just makes perfect sense. You know, you've got people that will come into the office and run mindfulness. There's no reason why you can't get people to come into the office and teach people about visualization for a successful result. I mean, is that too weird, do you think?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, you can argue that sports people do it all the time.
Yep, we did talk about your rugby man, where he kicks it over the big H.
Yep.
And the 100 excited dogs.
A perfect description.
And if people don't know what I'm talking about, you should go back and listen to the one about the point of meditation.
But because so people do it in sport, and the corporate world is quite happy to learn from sport.
Right.
You know, incremental gains, that extra 0.1% that you can implement to gain an advantage, be it physical or engine or whatever for sports cars, that sort of thing. And the corporate world is quite happy to do that. So what you're suggesting is it's kind of just a variation of a theme, really, isn't it? Because if sports people can visualize and strive for what they want, and corporate people will visualize and strive for what they want, why can't you do it from a slightly different angle, from a magical kind of perspective, a meditation sort of perspective, and call it what it actually is, rather than, oh yeah, Guru, you're a tiger.
Finger guns in the mirror. Yeah, exactly. It's just the next step along with corporate wellbeing offers, I think, to their staff. It's just one more thing. You can just add it in.
So it doesn't sound anywhere near as bonkers.
Thank you.
As I or others may have expected when you suggested the idea of bringing magic and tarot into the corporate environment.
So when I said last time that I would feel like my work is done if a group of lawyers were sitting around plotting by using astrology the best time to take a case to court, did you immediately think I meant the wolf, ram and hart from Angel season 5, for example? Because they do exactly that.
No, and there are two reasons. One is because I didn't watch Angel.
Oh, you've missed out.
And the second one is also because I didn't watch Angel. I've seen some, like a couple of episodes here. There is one episode in season 5 which is absolutely outstanding, but the rest of it, no, it didn't do it for me.
Oh, well.
So no, I didn't think of that.
Well, to educate you on Magick.
All of this is education.
To educate you on the thing that you bring to the podcast about pop culture. So in season 5, and spoilers for people who haven't watched Angel yet, you should really go watch Angel.
Don't bother.
But basically, the show moves to a law firm, and Angel is like the, I don't know, leader. What do they call
eventually
him? Yeah, so
head
CEO of
whatever.
this law firm.
Yeah.
But basically, the law firm is run by, well, they are a wolf, a ram, and a hart, which is basically like 3 demon type things. And they've devised this. They all have different departments. Like their R&D department is about like making potions and coming up with weird stuff. They do have a lawyer who receives his legal training by getting it downloaded into his brain from a panther in a white room. So
no, continue. You're really making me reconsider my decision not to watch all of this. Watch Smile Time season 5, like 1 episode. Don't bother with the rest.
But it's basically corporate environment where magic is prevalent. It's everywhere. It's considered normal to be at the staff party and be acting like you're 15 again.
That conjures up slightly different images to magical ones. And also, I think that corporate environment doesn't sound quite the same to your normal everyday corporate environment. I mean, I'd love to be able to download additional knowledge and skills from a what did you say, from a panther
in a white room.
Yes, I'd love it if a panther could give me additional knowledge and skills.
You'd be perfect for it, because having looked at your astral chart,
I'm lazy and I just want stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I would love it. Sadly, that's not the corporate environment that you'd be bringing this into.
No, because if you don't meet your KPIs at Wolfram and Hart, then you get beheaded. So, yeah. There's not too many beheadings, or there are.
Well, not if they can all flip and download their knowledge from a panther in a white room. How can they fail to meet their KPIs? And no one's really thought this system through. The bonuses must be extortionate. They're constantly paying out because everyone's just like, oh, I know Kung Fu. It's stupid show.
Anyway, this is not the Angel podcast.
No, it's not. Thank God. All right. So this, like I said, it doesn't sound anywhere near as ridiculous as Angel. So and I think we talked last time about birth charts, and birth charts as being another alternative to Myers-Briggs and that sort of thing. So you could have something like that. You could meld the two with tarot or something.
Yeah.
Doing the tarot to facilitate discussions, all of that sort of stuff. It sounds reasonable, not too scary. It's like you said, it's an extension of an existing kind of working practices with visualization, mindfulness, reducing stress, but also being positive about work and stuff like that.
All right.
So
I'm dog dare you to do this at your next away day.
Oh, I don't get to run the away days, sadly.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Because I'd be up for that.
I bet there's a couple of people in the team that would probably love it. There's a couple of people in the team that would probably do what some of your people have done, and
I'm going.
Wi-Fi's not working.
I'm off that day.
I'm going through a tunnel.
Whatever it is, I'm off that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's essentially tarot in the boardroom. I mean, or the meeting room, or the conference hall, or on Zoom. You get it.
Tarot in the workplace.
Yeah, tarot in the workplace. Yeah.
Cool. Very good. All right.
That's it. That's our show. Subscribe to our website to receive free articles, downloadable spells, and guided meditations. Start your magical tuition today at magentaschoolofmagic.com.